Discover the incredible journey, how a hidden heroine transformed a billionaire's life in 30 days. Jenna woke up every morning before the sun rose, her heart racing with dreams of a better life for Lily. As she slipped on her worn-out shoes, she could almost feel the weight of the world pressing down on her shoulders. The cramped apartment in Chicago echoed with laughter and makeshift dreams, Lily's drawings taped to the wall and the aroma of instant coffee in the air. This was home, but it wasn't easy. Each day was a test of endurance, a balancing act between working 2 jobs and nurturing her bright-eyed daughter. But tonight was different. A series of unfortunate events had tripped Jenna up, leading her to the ornate gates of Thomas, a billionaire nursing a sprained ankle. His mansion, towering and solitary, stood in stark contrast to the neighborhoods Jenna knew. She hesitated, anxiety creeping over her. But the prospect of an extra $1 was enough to push her forward. In one breath, she bellowed, "I can help." Out of pure instinct. He looked at her with a mix of confusion and desperation, as if she were a miracle that fell right into his lavish world. Little did they know, she would be the one to change everything. The days that followed the sprain turned into a whirlwind of unexpected moments. Jenna picked up his groceries, helped organize his space, shared stories of her life, and laughed over mundane tasks. And in those moments, walls crumbled. They were building a bond made of moments and vulnerability. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As their days intertwined, Jenna noticed the glimmers of affection in Thomas's eyes when he watched her fumble clumsily with the vacuum or laugh wholeheartedly at a story of Lily's latest mischief. She showed him a life filled with warmth, humor, and love, riches he lacked beneath the weight of his money. But the more they drew close, the louder the world around them got. "She shouldn't be here," whispered his high society friends' voices dripping with disdain. With their relationship forging fragile connections, Jenna's community back home rallied behind her, bringing her comfort wrapped in love and support. Neighbors offered meals, each one a reminder that in hardship, kindness was often free. But doubts loomed like thunderclouds. Would Thomas choose to stand in solidarity with her or fold under the pressure of privilege? Then came the moment that changed everything. As secrets unraveled, devastating pasts collided. Jenna found out her hidden family legacy intertwined with Thomas's own. What did that mean? And here she was, a single mother with everything to prove. Thomas stood at a crossroads, looking back at the life he had known, while feeling the tremendous pull of a woman who made him feel alive, yet outside, the judgments whispered and taunted. Jenna felt the heavy silence, punctured by chaos and fears of inadequacy. Would love triumph against their worlds? As the tumult swirled around them, they both stood on the brink of crashing hope and heartfelt wishes. Would they let the magic of this newfound connection bloom, or would they be swept away by the looming demands of society? Just as the final decision hung in the air like a held breath, the story was just beginning. The sun broke through the heavy curtains, casting golden rays that danced across Jenna's face. She opened her eyes slowly, still cocooned in blankets while her heart carried the weight of uncertainty. Thomas had been quiet since the revelation of their shared past, and each lingering moment felt like a ticking clock counting down to something inevitable. Jenna's mind raced with thoughts of what this meant for her and for Lily. As she slipped out of bed, her mind fluttered between hope and fear. She needed to talk to Thomas, to clear the air. That fragile bond they had built felt both thrilling and terrifying. But what could she say? Would he still see her as the woman who brought warmth into his life, or would she now simply be a reminder of a legacy neither of them wanted to confront? In the kitchen, Jenna busied herself making breakfast. With each clank of the pan and flutter of eggs, she thought about the times Thomas laughed over her culinary disasters, the sweet way he would tease her about her insistence on modifying recipes. The smell of bacon sizzling brought a familiar comfort, but it couldn't silence the rising unease. Lily stumbled into the room, sleep still tugging at her eyelids, and Jenna felt a flicker of warmth. Her daughter radiated joy, a reminder of what truly mattered in her life. Jenna showered Lily with kisses and tender words, encouraging her about the day ahead. It was the only way she knew to shield her from the storm brewing on the horizon. After breakfast, Jenna took a deep breath and walked toward the vast living room where Thomas was quietly reading. He looked up as she entered, their gazes locking in a silent exchange that spoke volumes. The tension hung heavy, filling the air like an uninvited guest. "Can we talk?" Jenna's voice was steady, despite the adrenaline rushing through her veins. "Of course," he replied, setting the book aside. She noticed his eyes, once sparkling with life, were clouded with thought. They sat opposite each other, the distance between them widened by the unspoken words that lingered in the space. Jenna touched her fingers together, seeking comfort in the gentleness of her own hands. "About last night," she began, searching for the right words. "I didn't mean to drop such a bomb on you. I didn't know how to keep it from you." Thomas looked pained. "I get that. But it changes things. Everything." "What do you mean?" Jenna asked, urgency threading her tone. "Does it change us?" "Because I don't want it to." He hesitated, the battle within him evident. "I've spent my life avoiding the past, Jenna. You make me want to confront it, but what if I can't?" A wave of frustration washed over Jenna. "You're not just a billionaire, Thomas. You're a person. You have every right to feel how you feel, to navigate your own life, just like me. But don't you see? We can choose to take this step together or back away. You choose." As Jenna spoke, she felt her heart pounding in her chest, echoing the intensity of her emotions. It wasn't just about their shared legacy. This was about trust, love, and the future she so desperately wanted for Lily. Thomas ran a hand through his hair, frustration making his jaw tense. The silence thickened, straining at the seams. Just when Jenna thought he'd retreat behind his walls again, he leaned forward, vulnerability cracking through. Maybe we can find a way," he murmured, hope creeping in like the morning sun breaking through clouds. But before Jenna could respond, the sharp sound of a doorbell rang through the mansion, jangling their fragile moment. Who could it be? She felt a knot form in her stomach. With unspoken fears swirling around them, she turned toward the door, wondering if this unexpected visitor would tip the scales back toward chaos. Thomas's eyes matched her concern, and with that, uncertainty settled back over them like a heavy fog. What awaited them on the other side of that door? Jenna's heart raced as she stood before the door, a battleground of anticipation and dread. The doorbell rang again, loud and demanding, pulling her from the depths of her swirling thoughts. "Stay here," she whispered to Thomas, though her eyes reflected the question she couldn't voice. What if this was the beginning of trouble? He nodded, an unspoken agreement hanging heavily between them. Jenna opened the door cautiously, her pulse thundering in her ears. Standing there was a tall woman, slightly older than Jenna, with an elegant air that instantly caught her off guard. She held a briefcase in one hand, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders like a waterfall. "Can I help you?" Jenna asked, her voice masking the storm brewing inside her. "Hello, Jenna. I'm Margaret," the woman replied, her tone smooth, confident. "I'm here on behalf of the McKenna family. I need to speak with Thomas." The mere mention of the McKenna name sent a chill through Jenna. A legacy long buried, a family ghost she thought they had safely put behind them. "I don't think what could you possibly need from him?" Her response wavered between defensive and curious, fear skimming the edges of her disbelief. "He needs to know the truth," Margaret said, her gaze steady. "And so do you." The words hit Jenna like a sudden shockwave, tossing her thoughts into chaos. "What truth?" she pressed, anxiety nipping at her heels. Margaret glanced over her shoulder, as if assessing the safety of their conversation. "It's complicated, but it has to do with your daughter's future." All the air in the room felt dense, as if someone had pressed down on an invisible weight. Jenna's mind raced back to Lily's pure laughter, the light that filled their life, and her heart clenched. "I can't let anything harm her. Thomas deserves to know, but what could possibly connect our daughter to the McKenna name? Let me in. Please." I can explain. Jenna hesitated, looking back at Thomas. He stood stiff, watching her, his eyes flashing with unspoken questions. She could feel the weight of his gaze, urging her to make a choice. With a deep breath, she stepped aside. All right. But only for a moment. As Margaret crossed the threshold, Jenna's protective instincts flared. She had no idea who this woman was or what secrets she brought with her, but the weight of impending revelations felt monumental. Margaret set her briefcase on the shimmering coffee table and popped it open. I've pieced together documents and records over the years. Connections that reveal the truth about your life and about Thomas's. Jenna's heart thudded, the pieces of the puzzle shifting ominously in her mind. What do you mean by connections? Before Margaret could answer, Thomas stepped forward, his voice low and furious. What are you doing here, Margaret? Haven't we settled this? Margaret's steady gaze turned in his direction. There are things you can't run from, Thomas. Not anymore. The tension crackled, the air suddenly thick with a web of unsaid histories. Jenna shifted, feeling her heart pounding against her ribcage like a caged bird desperate to escape. What was this truth that could rattle the very foundation of their lives? Slowly, a sense of surreal dread mingled with determination rose within her. Their lives were already intertwined with the past, now it seemed the past was demanding its say. Standing on the precipice of danger and revelation, Jenna reached for Thomas's hand. He took it without hesitation, eyes still locked on Margaret, their resolve dangling in the air. Whatever it is, she said, her voice steady, we face it together. Margaret nodded slowly, the understanding of that shared bond settling in the room like an uneasy peace. Then let us unveil the truth. As the layers started to peel away, Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that they were about to uncover something truly life-altering. What would the truth reveal about their past, their present and the future of little Lily? And with that unsteady anticipation, they leaned in, ready to discover the reality that lay hidden beneath the surface. Would it bind them together or tear them apart? Margaret took a deep breath, her fingers brushing the edge of her briefcase. This isn't about blame, Thomas. It's about understanding. She pulled out a file, the pages slightly worn, their edges curled with time. You both deserve to know everything. Jenna could see the tension in Thomas's posture, his fists clenched at his sides, his jaw set in defiance. The memory of past confrontations flared in her mind, but she pressed on, forcing herself to breathe steadily. Just tell us, Margaret. We deserve that much. Margaret laid the file on the table, her eyes darting between them. What you need to know is that the McKenna family isn't just a name, it's a legacy. A legacy carried into the future through hidden connections. Connections involving your daughter, Lily. Jenna's heart raced. What kind of connections? What do you mean? The questions felt heavy and urgent, like stones sinking in water. Thomas stepped closer, his voice barely above a whisper yet furious. This stops now, Margaret. You're dragging us into a mess that's been buried for years. Please, listen. Margaret shot back, her calm facade cracking. If you walk away now, you're walking away from the chance to protect Lily. You think you can shield her from the McKenna past, but it's already a part of her whether you like it or not. A silence hung in the air, thick with unspoken emotions. Jenna glanced at Thomas, searching his eyes. She saw fear, yes, but also a flicker of something else, curiosity. What if she's right? Jenna thought. What if this is bigger than us? Fine, Thomas finally said, resolve hardening his tone. What do you know? Margaret nodded, relieved. Thank you. This is sure to be difficult, but the truth can lead to understanding. I have records here that connect our families in ways I'm still unfurling. Secrets that were meant to stay hidden. Each word felt like a key turning in a lock, and Jenna felt a shiver of unease. Secrets. Margaret opened the file and began to read aloud. The McKenna family has been involved in several charitable foundations centered around children's welfare. But behind the scenes, they've also had ties to local businesses and legal matters that haven't always been above board. She paused, letting the gravity of her words sink in. It can get murky quickly, and your family has been caught in that current. The mention of charities, of doing good only to shroud dark dealings, made Jenna's stomach churn. What does this have to do with Lily? Thomas snapped, voice dripping with frustration. Lily was registered as a potential recipient for educational funds that were tied to the McKennas, funds that could give her access to things you've never dreamed of. A suffocating silence enveloped them. Jenna's heart raced, but she grabbed onto this fragment of knowledge with both hands. Desperate for clarity, she urged, but why? Why would our daughter be involved? Because Margaret continued, her voice low, your families are linked by blood. Jenna stumbled backward, as if the ground beneath her had shifted. Thomas's expression turned into a storm of anger and confusion. What are you saying? Blood? Margaret nodded solemnly. Lily isn't just a McKenna in name through some distant connection. She is one of them genetically. There are records here that show her lineage ties directly back to the maternal line of the McKenna family. Jenna felt a dizzying wave of information crash over her. No. This can't be. But as the words sunk deeper, she saw the truth folding like a tidal wave, ready to sweep them off their feet. The threads of their past tightening around them. As Thomas raked a hand through his hair, his eyes darkened with conflict. Jenna could feel the enormity of the moment, both beautiful and frightening. No. This can't tear us apart, she thought desperately, her heart pounding in her chest. Margaret sensed their disbelief, her voice softening. You have a choice to make. Embrace the past, or let it shape your children's future without you. They stood there, suspended in a moment of raw, chaotic uncertainty. A truth loomed over them, a truth that could bind them to a legacy they never wanted but could not escape, and as the weight of the revelation pressed down on Jenna, she wondered, what path would they choose? Will you fight to keep your family together, even when the past is storming in? Jenna's breath caught in her throat as she struggled to process Margaret's words. Blood. Roots. Connections she never expected. Her mind was spinning. Each thought felt like a jigsaw piece being tossed into place, shifting her perception of everything she thought she knew about Lily, about family, about herself. Thomas clenched his fists again, his face taut with disbelief. You can't be serious. This is all just speculation. There's no proof. It can't just be about blood. Margaret's expression softened, compassion threading through her voice. The records are here. I've looked into it, Thomas. For your sake as well as Lily's. The past doesn't just vanish, it clings to us. Perhaps it's time to confront it rather than hide. Jenna's mind raced ahead. She thought of Lily, her bright curls, that laughter that could fill a room with sunlight. Could her daughter truly become entangled in something the McKenna legacy represented? But Lily is just a little girl. That shouldn't matter, should it? Margaret shook her head. It matters more than you know. This could provide her opportunities you never had, a chance to rise above whatever shadows are tethering you. Thomas scoffed, a chance? And what about the price? You talk like this is some kind of blessing. It feels like a curse, dragging our family into a mess. Maybe it is both, Margaret answered quietly. The truth often carries layers of both beauty and pain. It's how you choose to navigate it that matters. Jenna's heart raced. Could opportunity outweigh the fear? The possibility of saving their daughter from a legacy that was entangled in secrecy and shadow felt too daunting to even consider. Did they have a choice at all? Her thoughts drifted toward the future, imagining Lily's hopeful face, excited over possibilities. But how do we protect her from this mess? Jenna pleaded, her voice softening. Margaret leaned in, her eyes earnest. By not ignoring it. By standing together as a family and deciding. If we face this head-on, you can redefine what the McKenna name means to her. You have the power to rewrite the story. Jenna exchanged a glance with Thomas, their eyes searching, weighing the impossible burdens against their daughter's future. She wanted to leap into the chaos, to ensure Lily wouldn't drown in a world that felt foreign and frightening. Thomas exhaled sharply, breaking the silence. And what do we do with what we find? Not all legacies are worth preserving. Then make new ones. Margaret responded firmly. You can forge a bond of understanding, loyalty, and love. That can triumph over anything, a legacy of hope amidst ruins. Emotion swelled in Jenna's chest, the mixture of fear and determination surging as one. Could they truly reshape a reality that felt so inherently tied to hurt? Or would they only unearth pain that could shatter them? Before either could respond, a soft knock echoed from the door. It swung open slightly, revealing Lily's face, round and innocent, bright blue eyes searching for answers. Mom? Dad? Is everything okay? Jenna felt her heart twist painfully. In that moment, she wanted to shield her daughter from the storm brewing just outside her door, to keep the joy and simplicity of childhood untouched. But as she looked into Lily's trusting gaze, Jenna realized there was no way to shield her from the truth forever. Sweetheart, we're just talking. Lily's brow furrowed, sensing the change in the air. Can I come in? Jenna nodded slowly, the tension in the room thickening. How would she explain the currents swirling around them? The weight of legacy, of blood, of choices that could forever alter the course of their lives. As Lily stepped inside, Jenna's mind raced again. How could she protect her daughter from the unexpected storm while also ensuring she had the best possible future? What decisions lay ahead that could bind them in ways they hadn't imagined? In that moment of uncertainty, Jenna felt the threads of fate weaving tighter. And she knew, whatever path they chose, it would demand courage they had yet to find. Could they summon the strength to face what was coming? The echo of her own questions taunted her, the answers shrouded in the echoes of the past. Would they choose light over shadow or allow fear to hold them back? Jenna knelt down to meet Lily's gaze, her heart a chaotic drum in her chest. Everything's okay, sweetheart, she said, forcing a gentle smile. But the words felt brittle, as if they could shatter under the weight of unspoken truths. Lily walked into the room, her tiny fingers curling around the edge of the door. You look funny, she remarked innocently, tilting her head. The seriousness of the moment felt distant when faced with the unwavering curiosity of a child. Jenna glanced at Thomas, who was still contemplating the magnitude of Margaret's revelations. In that brief exchange, Jenna felt a flicker of hope. Could they truly navigate the storm together? Mommy, why do you and Daddy look worried? Lily asked, stepping closer, her voice a whisper filled with concern. Jenna took a breath, the weight of the moment heavy on her. We're having a grown-up conversation. It's not about you, it's about our family. Her mind raced to sift through options, trying to find a way to tell Lily that wasn't shrouded in fear. There's something important we need to talk about, Thomas finally spoke up, his voice steadier than Jenna felt. But it's complex. There's a lot you don't know, Lily, and we promise there's nothing to be scared of. Lily's brows knit together, an expression of concentration on her small face. Is it about the McKenna thing? Jenna blinked, surprised. What do you know about that? I heard you talking about it. Grandma Margaret said something about blood. Lily scrunched her nose, clearly trying to make sense of it all. What does that mean? Jenna's heart twisted. How could she explain something so tangled to her innocent daughter? Well, sometimes families have histories that are complicated. It means our past has stories that might affect us today. But I like stories. Lily exclaimed, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. Is ours a good one? Jenna exchanged another look with Thomas. His expression was shadowed with turmoil, yet he softened at Lily's innocent enthusiasm. Yes, and that's why we're working to understand it, he said, voice lighter than moments before. So we can create a better future for you. A flicker of understanding crossed Lily's face. Like superheroes? They always fight bad guys. Biting back a laugh, Jenna nodded. Exactly like that, sweetie. Sometimes we have to fight to protect the ones we love. Lily beamed, her spirit undimmed. So, I can help too. Can I? I want to be a superhero. Jenna's heart swelled, a mix of pride and sorrow flooding her senses. Could they truly harness the strength of love as Lily suggested? Even the concept of heading into shadows felt drastically different when seen through naive eyes. As the moment stretched, Jenna felt a sense of determination settle in her bones. If Lily could embrace the unknown with unbridled enthusiasm, then they could face this challenge head-on. Margaret's voice echoed in her mind 4 simple, yet profound words: rewrite the story, together. But what if rewriting the story meant unraveling more than they anticipated? What if they would open doors better left closed, unleashing shadows that could threaten their fragile peace? Lily tilted her head once more, breaking Jenna's spiraling thoughts. "Mom, can I wear my cape?" she asked, twirling as she often did when she felt heroic. "Yes, sweetheart, go grab it. We'll need all the courage we can muster." Jenna smiled at her, the warmth of family rushing in, even amidst uncertainty. As Lily dashed out of the room, the weight of new decisions pressed harder against Jenna's heart. What secrets lay ahead, just like the capes and masks hiding in the closet? Would they uncover strength, or would they stumble upon darker truths meant to remain hidden? With resolve building within her, Jenna heard the softest of whispers from the universe, an invitation to step boldly into the next chapter, no matter how daunting it felt. But as the door clicked shut and Lily's laughter echoed down the hallway, Jenna couldn't shake the feeling that the upcoming days would challenge everything she thought she understood about legacy, about love, and about family. How far would they have to go to redefine what it meant to be McKenna? Would they face the past together, or would it pull them apart? This question loomed larger than ever as she prepared to embrace the chaos with her daughter by her side. Jenna took a moment to steady herself after Lily departed, letting the sound of her daughter's laughter fill the empty spaces in the room. It was a sweet sound, innocent and hopeful, but it stirred a riptide of worry deep inside. She glanced at Thomas, who sat in silence, his jaw set tight with unspoken thoughts. "Is it really about the McKenna thing?" Jenna finally broke the stillness. "Can we have that conversation now?" He hesitated, his gaze drifting to the floor, then back to her. "We have to, don't we?" His voice was calm, but she could sense the tempest beneath. "I've been thinking, about how Margaret mentioned the family ties. Maybe it's time we learned everything we can." Jenna swallowed hard. "You mean about our parents, our grandparents, who we really are?" He nodded slowly, his expression grave. "It feels like we've been living in a bubble, Jenna, and it's about to burst. What if the truth breaks us?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "What if it spirals us into something we can't come back from?" Thomas leaned forward, his eyes searching hers. "Or what if it gives us the strength we didn't know we had? Maybe it's time to face our history, even the messy parts. To figure out what the McKennas really mean." The weight of his words anchored Jenna, stirring a mix of reluctance and resolve within her. She was ready to protect Lily, and if that meant looking into shadows that had long been buried, then so be it. "Lily is our priority," she said firmly. "We have to be cautious with how we approach this. She deserves to know our story, but it needs to be age-appropriate," Thomas interjected. "We can't crush her innocent view of the world. We'll tell her parts that are uplifting, parts that show her courage. We rewrite it, remember?" "Right." A hint of a smile crept onto Jenna's face at that. "Our family story will be about heroes, even if it comes with flaws." As they talked, the idea of exploring their family tree slowly transformed from an intimidating task into a shared adventure. Thomas stood up to pace the room, the lines on his face easing as they delved deeper into possibilities. "What if we made it a project?" he suggested, his eyes lighting up. "We could sit down with Lily, show her pictures, track down old tales. Together, we uncover the history we don't know, all of us united as a team. A superhero team." Jenna felt her heart lift. "I like that. It's not just about finding out where we come from. It's about showing her that every story has power, and ours can be one of hope." They exchanged hopeful smiles, but Jenna couldn't shake the lingering doubts. What if digging into their past unearthed pain? What if the more they uncovered, the more it threatened to fracture their family? Before she could voice these fears, Lily burst back into the room, her cape swirling behind her like a comet's tail. "Look, Mom. I'm a superhero now." She posed dramatically, hands on her hips, the sunlight catching the sparkles of her outfit. Jenna laughed, feeling the tension unravel just a little. "You look amazing, my hero. Can I save the world now?" "Absolutely," Thomas replied, crouching to meet her eye level. "And while you do that, we've got some hero work of our own to do." "I wanna help." Lily's enthusiasm lit up the room. "Just by being you," Jenna replied, pulling her daughter close. "Just by being you." With the warmth of her daughter nestled beside her, Jenna felt a flicker of hope emerge. But deep down, uncertainty still clawed at her. What dark stories had been tucked away? Would they truly be able to weave their past into something beautiful, or were they poised on the brink of unraveling everything? As they sat together, a family under the shimmering cape of possibility, Jenna couldn't escape the feeling that this journey would not just redefine their family legacy, it might reshape who they were at their core. What awaited them as they sought out the truth together? Would the light of hope be stronger than the shadows they might discover? Jenna sat cross-legged on the living room floor, the coffee table cluttered with colorful papers and markers strewn about. The afternoon sun warmed her shoulders, but it did little to ease the weight in her chest. Around her, vibrant drawings showcased Lily's superhero adventures, each one marked by an energy and imagination that made Jenna smile despite her worries. "Mom," Lily interrupted her thoughts, shifting from her artwork, "can we find the superhero family now? The McKennas?" "Of course, sweetheart," Jenna replied, her voice light, though her heart raced. It was a tangible reminder that what lay ahead was more than just an adventure. It was a search for identity, a bridge between past and future. The air buzzed with excitement. Jenna glanced at Thomas, who held a stack of old family albums. He flipped open the first one, revealing worn photographs of smiling faces and faded memories. There were sepia-toned images of clothed great-grandparents standing proudly next to vintage cars, laughing children playing in sunlit gardens, moments captured in time. He cleared his throat, pulling Jenna's attention. "Let us start with these. Every good hero has a backstory." Lily leaned closer, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Are they heroes too?" "They are. Maybe not in capes, but they fought their battles in their own ways," Jenna said, feeling a newfound joy at the idea of sharing these hidden legacies with Lily. As Thomas began narrating the tales caught in those images, Jenna felt the shadows of her doubts slowly lifting. There were stories of resilience, of overcoming adversity that stitched together a rich tapestry of their past. "This one," he said, pointing to a photo of an old woman, "is your great-grandma Agnes. She had a tough life, but she stood up for what she believed in. She fought for women's rights and made sure her voice was heard." "Wow," Lily gasped, awe evident on her small face. "So, she was like a real-life superhero." "Yes," Thomas exclaimed, his smile wide. "And that's just the beginning. Each of these people made choices that changed their paths and ours." But amidst the laughter and awe, Jenna felt a flicker of unease weave through the gathering warmth. What if they couldn't live up to these legacies? What if the shadows lurking in the McKenna history were darker than they anticipated? "Mom?" Lily's voice broke through her thoughts. "Can we keep looking? I want to find out more about our family." "Absolutely," Jenna responded, forcing a smile, her heart hammering as she wondered what deeper truths lay ahead. With each page turned, Jenna was anchoring the family to its history, yet she felt as if she were standing on a precipice, teetering between discovery and despair. As the afternoon light faded, a sense of urgency crackled in the air. The time would soon come when they would have to confront the family's secrets, the truths bound in shadows obscured by the years. "Please, let this be good," she whispered to herself, wanting to hold on to that bright glow of hope for her family. "Look at this." Lily squealed, holding up a photo of a group of children who appeared to be playing hide-and-seek, all smiling faces and carefree innocence. "They're so happy, Mom." And suddenly, the innocence of that joy broke through Jenna's fears. "They are. They remind us that even though there's darkness, there's always light too." What's next, Mom? Can we find out more about our family? Lily asked excitedly, bouncing in place. That's the plan, Jenna replied, her voice steadier now, even as her heart quaked. But first, we need to make sure we're ready for whatever comes next. There might be things we aren't prepared to hear. As night began to fall, the shadows danced around them, growing long and familiar, whispering secrets yet untold. Jenna exchanged glances with Thomas. Would their search unveil the same hope they felt right now, or would it seep into darker corners they weren't ready to face? And just as she thought they were getting close to an answer, Thomas turned the page once more, revealing a blurry photograph with unfamiliar faces that seemed to hold the key to long-held mysteries. Jenna felt her breath catch. What had they just uncovered in the depths of their ancestry? What unexpected twists awaited them down this rabbit hole? Jenna leaned closer, her hands trembling slightly as she studied the photograph. It was an image of a man and woman, both young and vibrant, standing together in an unsteady pose. The woman had a familiar smile one Jenna swore she had seen in her own reflection. She felt her pulse quicken, the weight of recognition settling in. Do you think they could be related? She murmured, glancing at Thomas. I don't know, Thomas replied, his brow furrowed with concentration. Let us see if there are any names written on the back. Lily wiggled her fingers, restless but curious. Can I see it, please? As Thomas gently flipped the photo over, anticipation hung in the air. It felt as if the room itself was holding its breath. Here. He squinted at the faded ink. Looks like their names were Clara and James McKenna. He looked up, his eyes widening. Jenna, that's your grandmother's name. Clara was your grandmother's sister. Jenna's heart began to race. My grandmother never mentioned she had a sister. She felt a mixture of excitement and a creeping uncertainty. What else don't I know? What else have we missed? Maybe they can help us understand the secrets of our family, Lily suggested, her voice high with excitement. Yeah, Thomas agreed, but his voice held a trace of caution. But it's also possible they were involved in things that weren't so heroic. We have to be prepared for all kinds of stories. Okay, Jenna took a deep breath, steeling herself. Let us find more about them. The pages turned slowly, each reveal like a pulling thread in a tapestry they were only beginning to understand. In the next photo, Clara was holding a baby, a gleam of determination shining in her eyes. This must be my aunt, Jenna noted, swallowing hard. We need to find out what her life was like, how she fought through her struggles. Maybe that's the fight that will inspire us. Do you think she was a superhero? Lily's eyes sparkled with unfiltered enthusiasm. In her way, Jenna replied, shifting into a storytelling mode, eager to encourage her daughter's imagination while grounding herself in reality. Every woman in our family is strong in her own right. They may not wear capes, but they have stories worth telling. Just then, a chill swept through the room, shadowing their warmth. Someone knocked gently on the door, and Jenna took a step back in surprise. Who could that be at this hour? Thomas shrugged, trying to shake off the tension that had suddenly gripped the atmosphere. Shouldn't he be anyone we know? Lily darted to the door, her curiosity bubbling over. I'll check. She swung it open with a flourish. Standing in the doorway was an elderly woman with silver hair cascading around her shoulders. She wore a vibrant scarf and a knowing smile that seemed to flutter in the evening air. Jenna's heart skipped. The resemblance was uncanny. Are you the McKennas? The woman asked, her voice soft yet powerful. I've a feeling you've been searching for something. Jenna's breath caught again. Could this be another hidden piece of the puzzle? The emotions swirled around her: hope, uncertainty, and a tinge of fear mingling together. Who are you? Thomas stepped forward, protective yet intrigued. I am Clara's daughter, the woman said, her eyes shimmering with memory. And it seems you've begun to uncover the stories of our kindred spirits. I'm here to help you make sense of it all. Jenna exchanged glances with Thomas and Lily. A spark of excitement ignited between them. Had they finally stumbled upon a living connection to their past? What do you know? Jenna urged, feeling the magnetic pull of this unexpected visitor. The woman smiled knowingly, every wrinkle on her face a testament to years of secrets. More than you can imagine. But first, let us sit down. There's much we need to talk about, and just like that, the night shifted, a door to the unknown swinging wide, inviting them deeper into the heart of their family legacy. What truths awaited in the stories buried in time? Would they be ready for what lay beyond the door? As Clara settled into the living room, the atmosphere shifted from uncertainty to anticipation. There she was, a living connection to the past, her presence both comforting and electrifying. Jenna felt as if the pieces of a long-lost puzzle were starting to fit together. "Thank you for coming," Jenna said, her voice steadying now. "We've just begun to scratch the surface of our family history, and I sense it's much deeper than we realized." Clara's warm smile radiated a sense of belonging. "Oh, honey. What you're about to discover is more than history, it's heart. Each story has its challenges, its battles, but it brings a legacy of strength." Her eyes sparkled with memories. There are heroes among us ordinary people who have faced extraordinary odds. In that moment, the bond between Jenna, Thomas, and Lily deepened, their family circle expanding to include Clara, a woman woven into the very fabric of who they were. Jenna looked at Thomas, whose demeanor softened. They were on the brink of revelation, together and united. "What do you mean by challenges?" Thomas asked, leaning forward. "What kind of history are we talking about?" Clara took a deep breath, preparing her heart to relay years of family lore. The McKennas have faced their share of trials, family disputes, dark legacies. But, like all families, we fought to find light within the shadows. Clara, my mother, stood up bravely against threats both external and internal to protect her children and uphold what's right. Lily's big eyes widened, awestruck by the tales of courage. "Did she wear a cape?" Clara chuckled softly. "In spirit, yes. But her strength came from her heart." "Mom, we can be strong too, right?" Lily asked, her hopeful gaze locked on Jenna. Jenna knelt down, wrapping her arms around Lily. "Absolutely, sweetheart. Every story we uncover can empower us." Clara's eyes glistened, warmed by Lily's innocence. "That's the spirit, dear. Now, would you like to hear about your great-grandmother's greatest battle?" As Clara spoke, Jenna could feel the air shift, thick with the weight of both past burdens and future hopes. The story unfolded a tale of love and sacrifice, of fierce loyalty to family and community. The denouement of their ancestors' actions wrapped around them like a warm blanket, igniting a fire within their hearts. Clara recounted how her mother had fought against power and corruption that threatened their neighborhood, championing the rights of the vulnerable. With each phrase, Jenna felt herself transfixed by the transformation of their shared legacy. Fear could shift to hope, battle could become triumph. "Every generation faces choices," Clara said. "Your family has the option to carry on our legacy or reshape it into something even greater." Jenna felt a tremor of understanding. They could redefine their history, not based on the past's pain but through resilience and love. "What do we need to do?" Jenna asked, her voice firm, determination replacing fears. Clara smiled knowingly. "It begins with unity, with teaching Lily about the strength in vulnerability. You must steer her toward understanding and accepting her roots while also carving her own path." Just then, Lily tugged at Jenna's sleeve, eyes sparkling with excitement. "Can we make our own stories? Can we help our family be strong and good?" "Yes." Jenna laughed, tears of pride filling her eyes. "You are already a hero, sweet girl. And we will stand together as a family, letting our love define us," Thomas added, stealing glances at both Jenna and Lily, a newfound understanding blooming among them. The promise of a transformed future hung in the air. The evening drifted into night, the stories flowing, a tapestry woven from pain and love, a chance to rewrite a legacy. Jenna, Thomas, and Clara shared laughter, tears, and the laughter of dreams yet to unfold. As Clara prepared to leave, Jenna felt the weight of gratitude settle in her heart. "Thank you for helping us find the light in the darkness. I'll always be here, guiding you just as the past guides us." Embrace your legacy, but remember, you have the power to shape your own story, Clara said, her voice a soothing balm. As she stepped away, Jenna exhaled, feeling hope pouring into the spaces that had once held fear. The journey ahead was no longer steeped in dread but alight with courage, ready to brave whatever awaited. Let us start this adventure right, Thomas said, wrapping an arm around Jenna and Lily. We'll gather the strengths of those before us and add our story to the tapestry. Holding her daughter close, Jenna felt the depths of love wrap around them. They had weathered storms together, and the bonds tying them into history would only grow stronger. Ready to uncover more, little hero? Jenna asked, her voice bursting with excitement. Yes. Lily shouted, her laughter ringing like music in the night. With hearts mingled in shared purpose, Jenna, Thomas, and Lily took a step into their new future illuminated and brighter than any legacy they could have imagined. As they embraced the journey ahead, Jenna couldn't help but smile, knowing this was just the start of amazing, transformative adventures together as family. Now, this is your turn to become part of our story. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories, leave a like now to feed the algorithm, it makes a difference. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.